Okay, so now we're ready to look at the substring function, and the substring function will allow you to isolate a shorter string from a longer string. Maybe you only want part of a string, you don't want the whole thing, and so we can use substring to kind of cut out a smaller piece of that string. So here are the arguments for substring. It takes 3 arguments. First of all, it needs to know the string in question. What's the string we're looking at? What are we cutting? What are we looking at? And then from there, it needs to know, okay, where am I going to start the cut? What's starting position? And then thirdly, how many characters to take? So for example, let's say we wanted to cut up the name Abraham Lincoln using substring. I want to isolate the word Lincoln. Okay, maybe I'm going to do a mail merge and I want to say, Dear Mr. Lincoln. And I don't want the Abraham involved, so I want to cut this Lincoln out. Substring can do it. So again, here's the first argument, the string in question. The second argument is, okay, where are we starting the cut? And basically every string, it's called a string because it's a string of characters all strung together, right? Like beads on a necklace. And each character is numbered, okay? Starting at the beginning, this is number 1, the B is 2, R is 3, and so on. The L in Lincoln begins at character 9, and spaces do count. This is the 8th character. Even though we can't see it, it's there, and that's the 8th character. So we're starting the cut at position number 9, and then how many characters are we taking? 7 characters, because we want the full last name there. Okay, so pretty easy to use if you understand those 3 arguments. So let's look at number 3 here in our problem set. It says add the substring function to number 2, okay, to display the truncated item descriptions as well. Results should look like this. So this is, let's look at 2 again. I think we were finding out which items were affected by the 60 character limit. And in this case, we will display not only those, I guess only 3 are affected, but we'll display those that are affected and also precisely how they will be affected and what those truncated descriptions will look like. So let's do it. So I'm going to copy number 2 here. Okay, this becomes number 3. And we are told to get the truncated description. You know what, I think, well, let me see how much space I have. I might drop this to the next line, but let's see. I'm going to put this, okay, yeah, maybe I can get this all on in one view here. Oh, cutting it close, but there you go. Okay, so getting the item number, the item description, and then the truncated description, which we will use substring to get that. Okay, so let's take a look at substring in action here. Again, it needs 3 things from us. The string in question, it's the item description, and it's like, okay, where do I start the cut? They're going to start at the very first character. Okay, how many characters to take? 60 characters. That's the max limit according to this problem. Okay, so that'll be the truncated description, and the rest of it is the same. Why don't I uncomment this and I'll run it. Oops. Okay, we'll see what the output looks like. Oh, you know what? I forgot to uncomment this one up here. Or comment it. Yeah, comment that out. Okay, so let's go ahead and run that. And there it is. You know, I am going to show you. Now would be a good time. It's not super necessary in this problem, but I want to show you something here. This is going to come up later in the problem set and also in the homework. It says results should look like this. This is a different kind of view. Like typically our query results are by default in the grid style like this, where it's, you really see the rows and columns. But this is like a raw text style here, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Again, it doesn't make much of a difference in this problem, but later problems it is going to make a big difference, and you're going to have to do what we call results to text. So it's these buttons here, these 3. Now, results to file, I'm never going to have you use. Results to grid is the default, and that's why I'm seeing the grid results. But this one on the left, the leftmost of the 3 buttons, is results to text. Let me run the query now that I've chosen results to text, and you can see, Oh, the font is quite big. There probably is a way to decrease the font. I'm not going to fiddle around with it, obviously, in the video. But yeah, there it is. So there you have your text results there. Okay, so that was number 3. I think number 4 is another substring, so I would like to do that now. Okay, write a select statement that will return exactly half of the item description for each SWC inventory. This is not a very practical problem. It's just, you know, some of these problems with functions this week and next week are just me wanting to use the functions and show you how to use them. The problems themselves are kind of, you know, what the heck is that about? You know, there's nothing really, you know, nothing particularly useful about this particular problem, apart from showing you how to use some of the functions. So anyway, writing a select statement that will return exactly half of the item description. So this is interesting. It's a slight brain teaser, I would say, because you know, we're using substring. And we're told to select the item description, but only half of it. So let's just get the kind of a skeletal thing in place here. And this is coming from inventory. Okay, so that way, let me comment this one out so it doesn't get in the way. So this one would give us the full item description, but we're told to just do half of it. So how could I do that? Well, I can use substring to get half of it, but let's see here. Okay, so I know that the string in question is the item description. I know I want to start at the beginning. We weren't explicitly told the first half, but let's just assume it's the first half. So I want to start at the beginning, but then I want to chop it off at the very halfway point. The problem is, the halfway point is different for all of these. If let's say, you know, this was 50 characters. I don't know how many it is, but, you know, maybe it's 50 characters. If I hard coded 25, yeah, that'll give me half of that one. But what about this one? That's like way more characters. So we need to finagle something else. So the len function comes to mind. Okay, what if I were to get the length of the description, the item description, and then divide that by 2. That would give me the exact halfway point for any one of these item descriptions. So let's see if that works. And it looks like it does. What we have here is a nested function technique. So I have the use of the len function within the use of the substring function. So this third argument for substring itself is a call to another function. So that's nested function calls. Okay, very common thing to want to do. Okay, so we'll move on to a different technique in the next video.